So you're looking for some good league starters, perhaps even off-meta league starters that are going to help you get all the way to red maps and further beyond. Welcome back. The name is Wolf, and I've got these 3 league starters picked out because I am looking to do them. This is very important because, as many of you know, I like to do Vaal Temple farming. Directly in the early stages of the league, I am in the Vaal Temple and I am grinding away. I love that type of farming. Unfortunately, there is a big asterisk with it. You need to have a build that can handle all mods on a map because you randomize in random map mods and they are super juiced. So if you can't handle it, your map is bricked and you lose all that value. So you need to make a build that can handle all of it. Now, I've been looking at these 3 builds to facilitate that. I will link all the information in the description box below, but I do believe these builds are able to do most, if not all, the mods with minor or no adjustments. So that's why I'm personally picking them out and showing them off to you as a potential recommendation, including the wonderful content creators who have actually put in their time to make them. So make sure to give them some love too if you get the chance. Just to give you an idea of what a build needs to be able to handle if they want to do effective VT farming, you can see it is quite a lot. We have some base map modifiers, 60% increase, but 90% increase is where we're going to live. Possibly 160 with the new keystone. I believe it's called Back to Basics, right? But yeah, you can see you need to be reflect immune, which of course is a lot more difficult now since we can't do a cheesy sextant. We can't do a poison or a bleeding build. Elemental ailments are out. Curses are pretty much gone with the wind. Avoid elemental ailments. Yep, they've got that sorted. Crits completely nullified, pretty much. No recovery over time. Instant and on-hit recovery can still work. Although, mind you, this one is very mean because if you have monsters cannot be leeched, instant leeching doesn't work either. So you need another source of recovery on top of that. So this one is particularly mean. You can see also at the bottom here, reduced flask charges. So Pathfinders are out unless you have a Mage Blood, but that works in every class, of course. Less area of effect. So if you rely on shotgunning with a certain area of effect, like let's say Stormcall, that's gone with the wind. Cooldown recovery rate. Good night, Bama, if you want to not slow down too much. Buffs expire 133% faster, and also your auras can get reduced. Now, you're not going to get all these mods at the same time, but you can get them in a multitude of varieties. And there's also mods like, for example, the cannot leech at all that also show up. And you need to be able to deal with that, or else your map is bricked. You need to have a character or characters that can salvage the map if it comes down to it, right? So that's what I build around, that's what I seek, and that's what I'm going to be facilitating. My first recommendation will be the Palstarin's Archmage Ball Lightning Hierophant, an incredible pick. Archmage, of course, going to be changed with the Necropolis League, making it a lot more comfy. But as you might know, mana stackers will have a lot of damage through Archmage, but get a lot of defense too with the same stat through Mind Over Matter. This build also innately will have a lot of sustain. The mana masteries will take care of your mana pool. Energy Shield inherently has a recharge, but will also receive Leech, an instant Leech, which is really nice with the many hits we do, as well as the native to the Ascendancy itself, the Life Leech, as well as, of course, the instant Leech that comes with it once we pick up the Leech Mastery. This allows you to facilitate tremendous amount of tank, tremendous amount of damage, and tremendous amount of sustain, which is exactly what we want. There is one mod, however, in VT map farming that I am concerned with, but there are fixes for that, which of course is the no leech mod. Mana will be fine, energy shield will be fine, but your life might whittle down over time, depending on your level of regen and if regen is active. Now, there are ways to fix that. You can get an instant life flask. You might be able to tech in a Watcher's Eye with the Vitality life gain on hit mod, or you craft a bunch of influence rings that have that life gain on hit mod on them, because they allow you to get many heals through the many hits you will do with the Ball Lightning. So there are many ways to solve that one issue that I can see, and everything else can be simply excused with skill issue or otherwise gearing. And the ceiling on mana stackers is very high, as we know. You can go to the moon and back without breaking a sweat, because keeping the investments going will always give you an incredible return on mana stackers. So that's why if you want to play a mana stacker, I would strongly recommend the Archmage Ball Lightning Hierophant, because you could spend an entire league on this and still get upgrades. Still an incredible pick. My second recommendation will have to be Ali's Splitting Steel Trickster, an absolute behemoth of a build. If I had to league start right this second, this would be the build I would be logging in on. Because after all, if I told you that if there was a build that could tank everything in the game, sustain anything in the game, and destroy everything in the game, you'd probably say that's pretty nice. Now, this build can facilitate that, and there's a good reason for it, or it should be expected, I should say, because most Valdo map farmers, people that farm the high-end crazy Valdo maps, oftentimes use tricksters, and with good reason. This build is going to be immortal, it's going to be fast, it's not going to be slowed down, it's going to be chaos damage immune through chaos inoculation, and all of that is going to be tuned with a very large energy sheet pool that you can constantly leech and recharge, as well as Ghost Shroud back from. Now, this is very, very good because we can also skill Energy Shield through the Ephemeral Edge. This is the unfortunate asterisk on the build. You do have a mandatory unique. The Ephemeral Edge is mandatory to play this. So until you have that and you have some other pieces of gear set up that's going to give you some Energy Shield, you will be forced to play something else until you have it. Now, Ali has a wonderful guide that's going to help you through that awkward stage like puberty. But other than that, this is shaping up to be an incredible build because as a result of it being Trickster and of course being Energy Shield related, it's going to have a lot of levels of investment you can put into it and still get meaningful results out of it, which is going to make the build look very, very enticing for a league project or just to start off with to make sure you can start farming and not dying all the time, because I hate dying myself. My third and final recommendation would have to be SRS of Enormity Minion Instability Necromancer by Tables. There's a lot to like about this build. Tremendous amount of single target damage that is always going to be crit damage as well, since SRS of Enormity has a built-in crit guarantee. On top of that, we're going to get the Necromancer changes as well, and we don't have to worry about all the downsides of poison. No ramp up time from the poison. We don't have to worry about the dot cap that's going to limit our potential. And also we don't have to worry about the minions, or sorry, the monsters on maps being poison immune due to juicing the map modifiers. This is going to allow for some very good flexibility on VT maps as we can just run most of it. Since we're not using mana but Eldritch Battery, we don't have to worry about running out of mana for that too. We're going to get a lot of sustain with Leech built into the new Necromancer, which of course can be enhanced further with Instant Leech, I believe. And then also some passive regen that we're going to be able to pick up. But more importantly, we're going to get Pure Block, which is allowing us to avoid lots of damage. And then when we do block, we can get life recovery on block on the shield for incredible infinite sustain. If you've ever done that with Aegis Aurora, you know how good that is. So unless you get hit by a massive one-shot ability, which you of course can avoid easily as a result of the fact that you are a minion build, so you can just back up and let the minions do the work for you while you focus on avoiding damage, you're going to be monstrously fine while doing monstrous damage to sending mini nukes to the enemy. An overall incredible pickup that is going to possibly be a build I play regardless of League Starter. I still have to iron a couple of things out, but if I do, I might actually play this somewhere in the league if I do not actually League Start this myself, because I am bound to, of course, the VT mapping requirements if I want to do that strategy. And with that, you have my 3 recommendations for League starting in 3.24 Necropolis.